I've been researching and shopping for properties in Japan over the last year. This is the second home I bought in Japan, and after a long search, I decided to buy a brand new home in Shibuya, which is a special place in Japan. Shibuya is the most touristic destination in Tokyo, and I intend to turn this into a vacation rental. Today, the house is finally turned over to me, so I get to show you the house in the neighborhood.
We just got off the train station. This is the nearest train station to the house that we just bought. This is approximately about 15 minutes walk. It's a bit longer than usual. There are 3 stations all around in different directions, but this is the closest one, about 15 minutes away. In Japanese standards, that's a little bit longer than you'd like, but we are making a trade-off. We bought a property in Shibuya, and we bought it for a very good price because it's on the fringe of Shinjuku, or I'm sorry, it's on the fringe of Shibuya. So ideally, when you buy a property, you want it to be as close to the station as possible or to any other type of public transport. You want it to be as convenient as possible because when you think about it, when you're renting these properties on Airbnb, these people are coming out with their luggage, and 15-minute walk might justify getting a taxi there, right? So you want it to be much more convenient than that. So as you can see, we're in the fringe of Shibuya. When you think of Shibuya, you think about the Shibuya crossing, and there's tons of people, loads of people. But Shibuya is a big city, and this is kind of like on the fringe of Shibuya, adjacent to Shinjuku. So we're right next to Shinjuku. It's not the most popular area in Shibuya. It's not the most tourist destination in Shibuya, but however, it's Shibuya still. And because it's a Shibuya address, we're going to be able to market it as such. The neighborhood here is nice and quaint. When you look at places like Shibuya, Shinjuku, Minato, they're probably the most prime central locations. However, in each of these cities or wards, there are little pockets of older neighborhoods. And what you'll see is a lot of mixes of older houses and newer houses. In Japan, it's very common to tear down the houses in approximately 25 to 30 years. So you'll see kind of like a constant regentrification of each neighborhood. And as you're walking around, you see a mix of older houses that are probably kind of fully depreciated, and then a mix of newer houses. And when you see that, and you see a lot of newer houses into the mix, you know it's kind of like an up-and-coming neighborhood. But what makes Japan an amazing investment, especially for Airbnb, it's the train system. Everything is so incredibly convenient. You're only about 10 to 15 minutes walk max, usually in central Tokyo, to any particular train station. And from the train station, you can pretty much get anywhere within 30 minutes. So I've always dreamed about living in Japan, mostly because of the Japanese culture. It's always been kind of like a very unique place in Asia. I've always had that kind of desire. On top of that, I found it to be a very good investment opportunity. Studying the market, know anywhere in the world where you can buy properties in major cities like this with this amount of infrastructure and development for the prices that we're seeing. Plus, tourism is on a boom. There's great opportunity to cash flow positive in properties in Japan, whereas for the rest of the world, it's much more difficult right now to find any properties where you can pencil in. On top of that, from a lifestyle perspective, I love to snowboard. I love to ski and snowboard, and I love winter sports. This is one of the best places in the world for that. We're definitely going to take a look at buying vacation homes around ski destinations, but we wanted to get a place in central Tokyo. I think that was kind of like we wanted to plant our flag in Japan with some place in central Tokyo, and we're in Shibuya. This is a great place to have a spot in Tokyo. So this house is 3 stories high. It's only 72 square meters of living space on a 50 square meter lot. The nice thing about this is it comes with a car park. So in Japan, you can't buy a car unless you have a car park. So I think that's going to add additional value to this place, especially if you want to resell this or rent this out to a long-term tenant who has a family. This is going to be a great value for them. So as you can see, because this is a brand new house, the curb appeal on this house is pretty nice. The facade is very nice and modern. It looks new. It looks very modern. The colors are good, and it's going to show well in the photo. Okay, so this is the foyer area. On the first floor, there's not a lot of space, but in the first floor, you have a full bathroom in here. Okay, you have your bathroom sink, and you have a tub and a shower So in every Japanese household, these bathrooms come pretty cookie cutter. They're quite nice, actually. It's pretty much plug and play. It's a very easy way to install bathrooms. Whereas in the States, it's a whole entire mess. Building bathrooms can be very expensive because of the waterproofing, the tiles, and everything else. But in Japan, these things are ready-made, fit to order. So you just order it and they come in and plug it in, and they're quite nice. And everyone has a bathtub. These bathtubs are very pretty nice because they can heat up the water. They can keep the water heated. In Japan, it's often that families will use the same bath water. They'll shower here first, and they'll use the same bath. Here, you know, you have your typical shower next to your bathroom, and it's weird because in Japan they always have a mirror here. The toilet is separated here from the bathroom. That's always a nice feature. And also with these bathtubs, so the cool thing about houses in Japan, a lot of these houses don't have dryers. They have washers only, because the bathroom can double up as a dryer. So you can hang your clothes in the bathtub or hang it across the shower. And there are settings here that will dry the clothes within a few hours. So I love these Japanese toilets. One of the things is they always keep the seat warm, for example. Another thing is they'll wash your tushy and your butt and whatnot. There's also, some of these things have a dryer function. Pretty advanced toilets. When you flush the toilet here, you can also wash your hands. In here is our study room. This is an office space. It wasn't big enough. There wasn't enough space to build a third bedroom, unfortunately, but what you get instead is a little den that you can use as your office. In our particular case, we'll probably close this up and use this as storage for us as the owner. So when we come back to this property, we will have our luggage and our personal belongings here that we can lock away and we can always access. So we're going to go up to the second floor now. Let's go check it out. So this is a brand new kitchen. The kitchen comes, again, much like the bathroom, very plug and play, fit to order. These are nice countertops, as well as the stove, the range top, brand new dishwasher, washer dryer, plenty of storage space for all your kitchen needs. Everything in Japan is very well thought of and well designed. So you have pretty much space for everything you need, like from places to put your pots and pans to your dishes, your forks and knives are all thought of. In this space, there's room for your refrigerator, your microwave, your pantry. So this is the living space here. In Japan, this is quite large for a 2-bedroom house. Spaces are quite a luxury here. Most places are quite small. A lot of people live in like 20 square meter houses or studios. Maybe 30 square meter. This is about 70 in total. The nice thing about this is the floors are heated. That comes standard. And then you have your air conditioner, your HVAC, which doubles up as air conditioners and heaters. You have this in one room, and then you have this in the living room, and then you also have them in the bedroom as well. Most Japanese houses only have one bathroom and one toilet, regardless of how many the bedrooms are. But in this particular case, we only have one bathroom, but we have 2 toilets, one on the second floor, one on the first floor, and we're even thinking about putting an additional toilet on the 3rd floor. I think that adds to a lot of convenience, especially when you're here with a big family. Over here you have kind of like an office desk space. I think it's a little bit unnecessary, but I guess it's nice to have. It's a place where you can kind of set up an office chair and your computer. And this is the living room space. It's not very big, but it gives you a room. It gives you enough room for a full-size couch. All the electronic hookups for the TV is already in place. All we have to do is mount a TV. So let's check out the 3rd floor where the 2 bedrooms are. So this is one of the bedrooms, and this is the larger bedroom of the 2. In this space, we've measured it out, and I think we can fit 2 full-size beds here. That would add on additional capacity to the Airbnb. So we can potentially fit 4 people. 4 people can sleep up in this room. Or what we're thinking about is 1 full-size bed and maybe even like a roll-out bed or a fold-out bed. I mean, we definitely don't want to cover that view. It's nice that we live in a neighborhood where there's not a lot of big buildings in front of you. There's only a maximum level of height you can build in this location, and we're approximately around that. So what it gives you is, it gives you a picture of the skyline. This is the Shinjuku skyline. So I bought this house for approximately 87 million yen, which was approximately about 515,000 US dollars. And what I plan to do with this is I plan to Airbnb this. In this Shibuya district, we can Airbnb up to 180 days under the Minpaku rule. Now, I had the option to convert this into a hotel, believe it or not. However, under hotel regulations, you need to build it up to hotel building standards and safety standards. And that would have required us to adjust the stairs, create a glass surrounding around the staircase. It didn't quite make sense at the time being. I think we could still make this 180 days Airbnb and still make this pencil in and profitable. Often people think that in Japan, your assets and your homes don't appreciate. That's not necessarily true. If you buy in central Tokyo, for example, like you typically will see capital appreciation in high demand locations. Places like that will always have an influx of people who want to move to central Tokyo. So in that case, depreciation isn't really a problem. And we wanted to make sure that we can preserve our asset value of the properties. We're here in Shinjuku. We're in a place called Kagurazaka. It's a place that I rent. It's a place I really enjoy being. It's places like this that will always kind of attract people. There's tons of restaurants and bars and great Michelin star restaurants. So there's a lot of people who like to be in this location, who want to live in this location. So there's always going to be high demand here.
A lot of people don't know this. All buildings are depreciated in Japan over time. However, central Tokyo and places like this, value of the land is worth approximately 60 to 70% of the total value of the home. The land appreciation eventually outpaces the depreciation of the building, so you can expect capital appreciation over the long run. So that's it, guys. I can't wait to show you my finished home after we design and furnish this. We'll be in Japan over the next year in 2025 buying buildings and cheap vacation homes. And you won't believe the deals we're seeing and how cheap these homes are. So stay tuned for new videos on this incredible Japanese real estate market.